One of the most intractable problems about reality is, witnessed in the debate that is going on between those who would say that reality is objective and others who would say that reality is subjective. Now, you can declare yourself a proponent of either camp, but in any case, you'd be wise to listen to the objections put forward by the people in the other camp, because they all tend to be quite valid. And that leaves you in a position where, if you're really honest with yourself, you have to start thinking, why is this such a problem? Let's first of all look at, very roughly, very quickly, at what the real problems are with the two positions. The subjective one being the easiest, because really what subjectivity implies is that you would create somehow your own reality. Now, it is a very tempting, very interesting proposition, but it is very clear to see by even the most casual observer that there is a huge problem with that. For example, I am currently recording a video. I am looking at a Panasonic digital camera, which is recording the video. That digital camera was designed by people in Panasonic. It was produced, it was sold to me, and I'm using it. Both the people who produced it and I can agree that that camera exists. They created it and I am using it. There is something about reality that causes people, different people, to agree about an awful lot of what goes on within reality. That does simply not square with the idea that reality is subjective, that everybody creates their own reality. Objectivity, on the other hand, is a little bit harder to discount. Let me get straight to the point with regard to objectivity. The problem with objectivity is that it presents reality as something that is describable from an external perspective. And that is where the problem lies with objectivity. Because with regard to reality, there is of course no external perspective. You cannot be external to reality. So every description that is presented of reality is necessarily an integral part of reality. That of course is another huge problem with this objective presentation of reality. That is that even our language is completely inadequate to describe the real situation with regard to reality. We talk about such things as being in reality or being a part of reality, and even that carries with it the implication that it could somehow be extracted from reality and set aside and being separated from reality. And of course, that is not true. If anything could ever be separated from reality, it would have to be presented as if it was a current in a bun, and the only way you can get the current out of the bun is by eating the bun. So the objective presentation of reality simply doesn't work either. In the end, everything you will ever know about reality is produced by you interacting with your reality. At the very least, you will be exchanging photons with another aspect, another part of reality, and so finding out something about it. But every exchange of photons, of course, is necessarily an interaction which affects both participants in the interaction, and both will be changed for it. Maybe infinitesimally so, and that is why we can agree about so many things within reality. That is why we can successfully create laws of nature and apply them to the world around us and create successful technology that works all the time. And if it breaks down, we know how it broke down, because we apply the laws of nature to figure out what happened. And that, of course, is a very tempting road into thinking that the world is fundamentally objective. But as I pointed out, the problem with objectivity is that it treats reality as an object that you can observe from an external perspective. And that simply cannot happen. So the world fundamentally cannot be objective. The problem with subjectivity then, to formalize my objection to that term, would be that it treats the world like it is the actor and you are it. You create your reality by being reality, effectively. The only way that can ever work would be by adopting a solipsist approach, which is very unsatisfactory from many perspectives, but in the end it simply isn't going to work either, for the very same reasons that I pointed out earlier. Different people can agree on many aspects of reality, so there has to be something about reality that remains consistent so that different people looking at it can agree. So what is reality then, if it cannot be subjective or objective? Well, obviously there has to be something like a grey area in between. It can be maybe a bit of both, or neither, or halfway between. Well, it looks like in reality, considering how successful science has been and how successful our technology is, we have to accept that the true nature of reality, whatever that is, has to lean very, very heavily towards the objective side, even if it cannot be objective. And that, again, leaves us with a problem. What is reality? I've been thinking about how to express what reality would have to be described as. And the only word that I can come up with that is even remotely accurate in my book would be something like holistic. The problem with that word, of course, is that it has been hijacked by mystics, by New Age philosophers, or philosophers I would even say, and that it has been used and abused to present the most wacky nutjob ideas out there. So if anybody can think of a better way, a better word, a better label for what reality really is, please let me know. For now I'm going to have to stick with holistic. Every interaction between you and reality reflects both on you and reality. You have an effect on reality. Reality has an effect on you. We influence each other. The closer you get to what you would normally identify with, your body, your mind, the more obvious the fact is that you do mold reality. If you are sick, the placebo effect shows that just your attitude towards being sick makes a difference to your prognosis. It does. On the other hand, most of reality is so far removed from our immediate experience that it's not going to change no matter how much you think about it, how much you consider it, and even if you look at it for long enough and continually exchange photons with it. If you look up into the sky and you look at the Andromeda galaxy, for example, you will see that it is approaching the Milky Way. And it will continue to approach the Milky Way, and it will eventually collide with it, no matter how long you stare at it. That is what I wanted to talk about today, this dichotomy that is presented so often between subjective and objective, how that dichotomy simply doesn't exist, and what we might do to work our way out of this dilemma. Thank you for listening, and reboot your mind.